Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with the second part on the painting of this guy, of the ogre, the black powder buccaneer. Okay, so we are going to paint him. We are going to paint his. We are going to start with the face, and we are going to start doing all the details on this guy. So I will start with the face, and each time I start with the face, I like to start with the eyes, and I'm going to use black and apply black inside the eye. So, okay, if you want to know how I arrived to this point, there is a part one where I did all the basing and all the base coats, the base, and as well I did all the washing. So now I'm going to use white, and in that case I'm going to use this one, red bone. Okay, white that is not, is a little bit creamy. Okay, a little bit not pure white. It's have a small yellow component, just to decrease a little bit the brightness. When I'm going to do the teeth, I'm waiting that the dry is completely dry. So this is why I jump to the teeth. I'm going to do the teeth here, here, like that. Now we are going to apply on the in the eye. So we are going to do like that. And like that. Good. Now I'm taking black again. I will not do blind eye this time, although he has the scar on the eye. I have too many guys with the blinded eye, so I want to do the black. Well, just checking that it's making sense. And now we're going to use XV88, this color. I'm going to use XV88. I also have, I'm going to put a little bit of flesh. I'm going to take cadmium flesh tone. No, I think I will take a darker color. I will use cadmium flesh tone and another one that is darker. Okay. I will have this color as well, Zamazi Desert, a little bit on my palette. I have here, so I don't need to put just a little bit dry. I will need to put a little bit more. I'll just mix this quite well. Okay, I will put a little bit. We are going to play with these colors to make the skin tone. And I'm going to put as well this one, Boogman's Glow. This more pinkish is for the scars. Okay, good. So we start with XV88, I think I will need to put a little bit more because it's too dry, the one I have. Yeah, we'll put a little bit more. And I will put as well, so this is the XV88. Like this. Cut in front of my face and I didn't realize. And I will put a little bit of this one, dried bark. Put it again under here so I can mix it with. Okay, I start with the XV88 and I will start highlighting this. And here is why I need dried bark, because I will need, here I go like that. So I'm starting doing this very harsh highlights. Okay, and now I will take the dried bark I just put and I will mix it. And this will want to give this sensation of darker color on the head. We'll take some water, the more of the dried bark, and put a little bit more. You need the XV88 to make the dried bark lighter. Okay, and now you can see we have a nice quite interesting tone. Okay. Now we'll keep working with XV88 and I will highlight the nose. And then on the lips I will use first Bookman's Glow. And then I will mix it with a little bit of the dried bark. And I will put some Bookman's Glow here. Okay. And on the top lip I will use, it's more, the top lip normally you have less visibility of the pinkish part, so I'm using directly XV88, and when I want extra bright I will use some Messy Desert. Okay, so I'm working with XV88 and some Messy Desert. Light. And now we have this scar there. I'm going to use here the Bookman's Glow here and here. I will come with XV88 and I will apply a little bit of this cadmium flagstone. You can use a little bit as well of Bookman's Glow in the ice bag here. And here. This will give. Now I'm taking the Messy Desert. Doing the upper lip. There's a space under the nose. I'm going to now enhance a little bit this thing with the Messy Desert. Adding some bright on the forehead. As well here. Now with XV88. You don't want this to be uniform. Okay. And we come back with a little bit of diet bark, very thin, and we go over. Again, XV88. Quite thin. And we use diet bark. To make the transition smoother and to add some variation. We will do this twice. I will do the ear. XV88 first. I think in that case it's good enough. And I will come back to this point here. Okay. And I think now it starts being quite interesting. Taking the Messy Desert. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to take dried bark and I'm going to put very thin line next to the scar. To increase even more the definition of the scar. And here I'm thinking if it's a scar or if it's a ring, so this can be I will leave it like that, like a scar. What can be a ring quite easily. It's quite tricky to know this. Doing the other ear here. I will realize that I have a miss spot there, so I'll just ensure the bottom can be completely dark. And like that, the face is looking good. Now I'm going to take a green color. I think I will use Warstone Glow. I'm using green because it will pop up quite nicely. Oh, I will take gold directly. I think I will put. Here I was hesitating what to do, but I think at the end I think I will use gold for almost everything. I'm going to use Retributor Armor. I'm going to put this as if these are made of gold. Putting Retributor Armor there. I will apply it as well on these things. Okay. And I will apply it here as well. Okay. Like that. And I will take I will not take Boston Glow, I will take Mood Green. But this is a very bright green. I need very little of this. Okay, Mood Green, this one. This is bones. Okay, forget about the Mood Green. I will take bone color directly. Okay, flake one flash. And I will apply it here. Like that, because this is a fun. The other thing is like a bone. What I will do is the strings. No, I will not do that. I will use this. I will use some acid ether for the strings that are holding the bones. Okay. And then we take Agua Air Shade, and we are going to apply this here. That will increase the shade. And we'll make these ornaments more visible. We try to avoid to go out of the position. And we do the same on the bones. Here and here. And we can do second wash later on. Let's work on the trousers because I have put the green. So I'm going to use now this one, Caliban green, that I already have it on my white palette. And I'm going to use, sorry, not Caliban green, Waterstone Glow. Okay, and we are going to work on the trousers now. So I put Waterstone Glow here, but a little bit too much neither. What we are going to do is we are going to go in the middle of these straps. And we add some green. Like that. I will do the same on the other two. So I will do the same on the other trouser. I will do it off camera because it's not very visible. Then on the white part, on the yellow part, I will use the Messy Desert that I have it on palette from before, and I will put a little bit in the middle, so to clean up as well the whitest part. And now we have the trousers. Okay, I will do the other leg of the trousers and then back. Okay, next I'm going to work on the leather parts, and I will use the technique that I used before in this channel. So I'm going to do very visible highlights. I'm going to use the Messy Desert, and I'm going to do scratches and weathering in a lot of parts. For example here, and I will go like that. We will do, so it's super visible, but this is the intention, because then we are going to add a glaze or filter on top, and we are going to integrate these scratches with the rest of the boot, the color. Okay, so I'm going to do like that, and we're going to do the same on the bell. For example, here on the bell, I will add a lot of weathering here where it's fold, and then you add some random scratches as well. In this one, we are going to add something like that. Then we add like a scratch like that, and we do something like this. Okay. try to be more irregular than this, so I will go back and we will do something like that, and then we will do a scratch like there, and another scratch like that. Okay, and we do scratches here and there. We keep doing this weathering. Okay, so I will do this on all the brown leathery parts, and I will be back for the next step. Okay, once we have applied all the scratches, as you can see here and there, you can see all the scratches. Now we are going to use snakebite leather, and we are going to go through all the bells. What this will do is will make all these scratches more integrated to the bell. Okay, we pass almost the texture of a glaze, very thin. Okay, and we are going to do this on all the different parts. You can see how nicely all this starts to get integrated with the paint that we have done, with the darker color of the leather. You can see it looks really nice. We have the scratches, everything very. We are going to do the same with the woods, of course. So okay, quite fast, and then we'll wait that this dries before doing the next step. Okay, so keep doing that, and I wait that this dries. Okay, next step, I'm going to work on the red, and to work on the red I'm going to use now these two colors, Mephiston red and corn red. Okay, these two, and I'm going to use as well dried bark for the shapes. Okay, so what we are going to do, let's take this fold here. I will start with corn red, do the fold, I'll go as well on the bottom, and then I will take Mephiston red and do a second highlight. And this part here that we will have this joint, I'm going to apply the dried bark to create the shade, and in that way I will also dissimulate the joint. Okay, if the dried bark is not dark enough, I can use even some black to help me on that. We have to be careful with all these type of joints. Okay, so we are going to apply corn red, we're going to do like that, And again, here at the under the I apply as well, and then I will use a little bit of black to help me on the shade. Okay, and I will go down. We'll take some water. So all is about, all what I'm doing here is blending directly on the miniature. To make the shades needed. As you can see, I go over this joint there to make it as discreet as possible. Okay, but here I will go with red. You can see that now this joint is almost not visible. Taking some dry bark right there, and I can go like that. And when I see that the dry bark is not enough, I will take very little of black, very thin, and I go up like that. Okay, and I keep working like that. So I'm going to apply corn red. There, Mephiston red. You want Mephiston red for the higher highlights. Okay, and now corn red here. And like that we keep doing. Let me do, for example, the right arm, corn red. Here you want to keep this cut, because this is the cut of the sewing. So we keep like if the sewing have been damaged there. You can see this, I don't know how it's called, this sewing thing. And now I'm applying like that. I'm applying now corn red first. And then I go with Mephiston red. In this case, I don't want to apply orange colors or scarlet, because I want to keep the cloak quite dark. So in order to get dark red, my last highlight will be the Mephiston red, and the main color will be corn red basically, and corn red with the Agate Earthshade wash. Okay, and when I go down here, I don't apply too much highlight. I'll just apply a little bit on the elbow. There I don't want to go, just very little. And like that I will do the rest of the cloak, and once it's done I'm back for the next step. Okay, next step I'm going to use Painitng brown, and I'm going to do the sewing with the Painitng brown. So I'm going to apply this on all these things. Okay. Of course, I make a mistake on the last one. No problem, because it's on black area. I go with some black and I correct it very easily. And next, we have here the closures, and I will use XV88 to do these things. Have one here. And one here. These are like the buttons. And I think there is another one there. Okay, something like that. But if they were made of wood, because normally they can be made of metal or wood, this type of things, or even ivory. But I prefer to do it like wood. I have another one here. Okay, let's highlight the black. To highlight the black, I'm going to use ink with darkness. It's finishing this pot. I have another one, a better one. This pot is gone. No. I will use the fang. Okay, this one. And raspberry. And we are going to highlight the black. So we'll start, for example, from here, this one at the front. I start with ink with darkness. I do like that. Then I take the fang. And finally we take a little bit of raspberry here, and we're going to do as well the bottom of the cats for the buttons. Okay, and we can do another. I don't know how it there. We'll take again raspberry, and I will emphasize a little bit more the corner, like that. And I will take a little bit of the fang and highlight here this part. Okay, let's do the arm. The arm, you can see that we already have the top of the fold lighter, so I will now make the color, define more the highlight with the fang, going over the part that is already lighter. Remember, we use black Templar to do these black parts. Okay, so black Templar is creating some shadings and highlights when you apply it, because it's a contrast paint. They are not super sharp, so this is why we're now working in making them sharper. Now I apply raspberry where I think we'll add to the highlight. Okay. Like that. Now here. Here. And I will add some raspberry now. Again, we have here the hole. We highlight like that the case, and I will do the other sleeve in the same way. Next step, I'm going to use Nude Oil over the metallics, because I want to increase a little bit more the shading, especially on the pistol and on the armor plates. I want to make it a little bit darker. Okay. I want to add some set around the pistol muzzle. Like that. Okay. We are going to do as well on the chainmail. Here on the shoulder pad I'm okay, but here I want to add a little bit more shading. and on the sword, because now we are going to do next some highlights. Okay, so I wait at this device now, and I will be back for the next step. Okay, so this is how it looks like now that we have done as well the black. So you can see it looks quite, we have done all the stitching, so it looks quite nice, but still there are some details we need to work on. Okay, so this guy is coming up quite nicely. So I'm going to work on, I forgot some leather straps, okay, and I also forgot a small coin bag he has here. What I'm going to do, just to make it different and not to have exactly all the leather exactly the same, this time I'm going to use Morphin Brown, and I'm going to do edge highlight with the Morphin Brown. Okay, so we are going to come here and we are going to do something like that. Edge highlight, you have to be patient. Find your how much you need to thin it. I think I like not too thin when I'm doing edge highlight, to have better control of what I'm doing. Okay. And I try to go step by step. Creating all this. And now we can do some small scratches here and there. Okay, and then on the back we are going to do the same. Okay, on this small bag full of coins. We are going to add, especially this is the coins, like seems that they're, oh, maybe are not the coins, are the bullets, he's using the, I think, no, sorry, it's not the coins, this is the ammunition of the gun. The coins are here at the chest, I guess. So this is the ammunition of the gun. Because this is the black powder, and then we have the ammunition. Here like that. And now I'm going to take even lighter color. This is going to be Death Cloud Brown. Oh, this one is a lighter brown, this one, Death Cloud Brown. We are going to do a second highlight, so I'm just mixing a little bit because it's a little bit, and I'm just going to apply. This is one you want to be very careful. Here I will just go on the upper part of these straps. And if you see that it's too visible, you come back with more from brown and you dissimulate a little bit. Okay, you So when you're painting, there is nothing wrong going back to the previous color to try to make corrections. For example, I will do like that, and some scratches here and there, or some additional highlights, weathering, so they can look, just to make the gun a little bit more, or the hand a little bit more interesting. Because it's quite in the middle of the miniature, right? So you want to make its very visible part. Again, if you make some mistakes, I come with dark brown and I'm correcting. And here on the small one, I will do a little bit the same. Okay. Then we have this, that is the typical reservoir where they were keeping the powder. I will just do the strings, and then the cork I will go with tau aqua green, light tau aqua, sorry for the, let me show you the color. Tau light aqua, this one. Okay, is the one I'm using here to pop up some of these small details here. Okay, here we are. I'm going to do the hands. The hands are going to be done in the same way I did the face and the head. I just forgot to do it when I was doing the face, so now it's time to do them. I'm just preparing the XV88 I have here in my wet palette, and we are going to follow the same process. But here, I can see that this hand is slightly lighter, so I start with the Zamesi Desert. This part, and you can see it's too much. Then you come and you use XV88 to compensate if it's too much. Okay, so you can use XV88 mixed with a little bit of Zamesi Desert to compensate. Now I use XV88. Okay. And if it's too much, I'm using a little bit of the Dryad bark to make it a little bit darker where it's needed. Okay, I'm going to do the other hand and I'm back for the next step. Okay, so we have the hands done. The only thing I wanted to do on camera is the nails. For the nails I'm going to use regular Flake Shade, and I'm going to apply this first on these nails. Carefully. This one is here. Okay, and the one on the gun is so hidden that it's not worth it to spend time trying to paint them, at least for me. Okay, I'm going to take now a little bit of Zamesi Desert and add a little bit of highlight to this type of buttons. at least the ones that are more visible. And here I see that there is a white dot. I'm taking a little bit of black. So yeah, from time to time you have to just review what you have done and just correct it. And make mistakes is really dumb, so you can correct it again. That is okay. I'm going to do now, here you can see I forgot another. These ones here, I will apply directly the XV88 on top, just to create a little bit of highlight. And then I'm going to use Flayed One Flash, this one, and I'm going to highlight the skull. Okay, the skull is too dark because we have applied the air shade. I want it much lighter, so because then if it's not it will be too similar to the skin tone and will not pop up accordingly. You also want to make it different from the leathers and all the things. As you can see in this miniature we are working a lot with ochres and browns. Like that. And then okay, and again I will use the XV88 I have in my palette. These are one of the big advantages of the wet palette, is that I still have the colors I put there about 1 or 2 nights ago. Okay, this one is still very thin, but it's okay for what I need, because I need almost a glaze more than a okay, like that is okay. You can see I just want very little touch, so I want it, and then here you can see I forgot to highlight to do the weathering on the weapon handle there. So I'm just applying a little bit to not to avoid that it's looking too uniform. Okay, like that is okay. And now it's time to work on the metallics. For that I will change brush. I will go to a brush that is not as good as the one I was using now. This is the very cheap Chinese brushes, and I'm going to use a medium tone. Okay, I'm going to use Iron Breaker. This one. And with this color, just to keep open, I'm going to do the next. I'm going first to do all the edge like that. Okay, let's do first the sword, and then I will show you what I do on the gun. On the gun is going to be very similar, but then there will be another step later on. Okay, I'm going to do like that on the sword. I will also highlight this transition here, because this will have more friction than other parts. Okay, and now we are going to do like scratches. This is too much. This is not what you want to do, but okay, we are going to solve this later on. if you make one that is too much and you don't like it, we can take a little bit of brown, thin it down, and we just go next to the scratch. Okay, and we keep doing. Okay, so I'm going to, of course, highlight the rivets. For example, here, I think there was an impact on this, so I'm going to emphasize that impact, doing this. Then I will use the dark brown in between. And it looks deeper, and you're just emphasizing something that the sculptor had already created, right? My metallic maybe it's a little bit too thick. I'm going to take some water, put it. I try to avoid to put metallics on the wet palette because I don't want to contaminate on my palette with metallic particles, because sometimes the paint is running on the palette because there is a little bit too much water, and then I want to avoid that I'm contaminating all the paints with this silver, because if I contaminate the paint with a flat color, it's not a problem, but with metallics can be a problem. So I'm doing as well, you can see, now it's much better, I have much more control, it's much easier to do. Okay, I'm going to do like that. I'm going to add another scratch, for example, from here. You can see now it's much easier to make the scratches. Okay. And we're going to do the same on the other side. It's just working this side and I will work the other side like that. So I will work the other side of the sword like that, in the same way. And on the pistol, I'm not going to add the scratches, right? Because the pistol is not used to hit normally. You never know on our auger. But I guess he knows that he hits with the sword and shoots with the pistol, right? So what I'm going to do here, you can see I'm not highlighting the muzzle of the pistol because I'm expect. What I'm going to do here, for example, is I'm going to highlight this nice decoration. And later on, I'm going to apply our contrast, and you can add as well here some nice highlights as well. Here it looks like it's a little bit broken, this part. Okay, maybe he hit someone with this pistol. But what you want to do is just, it looks too dull now. What we want to add is a little bit more to improve the shiny of the metallic, right? So you can do, for example, here on the pistol, you do like that. It will increase a lot the metallic appearance. Now it's looking a little bit too dull for my taste, so you want to do like that. Okay. You don't want to undo what the wash have done completely, but you want to clean up a little bit. Or what I call it, clean up. You can see. Okay. Okay. I'm going to do working like that as well. Then on the armor plate, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to work on here, here. I just keep on here. I will do the gold later on. The gold or the brass parts, I will do them later. But just, you can also add some scratches if you want on the armor, like we have done on the sword. Okay, so I'm going first to do a little bit of edge highlight. It has a lot of texture, so because it means that it's not a smooth finished armor plate. You can see there is a lot of bumps and dents. So you want to emphasize this on this armor, okay? Then here where we have the bell will keep polishing a little bit all this. Okay, so I will work on the other side of the sword. I will polish a little bit, or add a little bit more polishment on the another part that I want to add some highlight is this one, but here I'm going to be very conservative and just add something like that, and that's all. Okay, this one I want to keep it. And on the chest, I like how the metallics look like. I will not do too much work unless I see, but I think it's looking good. So I mainly work on the pistol, and I will work on this side of the sword, and I'm back. Okay, one thing I'm going to do as well is on the chainmail, I'm going to apply a very soft dry brushing with the same iron breaker. Okay, the idea is you have to be very careful not to dirt on the red, but you want to add some, you want to make the chainmail to shine a little bit more, right? Just very carefully, with a lot of passion. And we can do as well a little bit on the shoulder pad. You can see that this will help even on the gold part. To increase now the shine and to show off on more the texture. We're going to do as well a little bit on the belly part. Including these things. And on the gun. We have to be careful we don't undo all what we have done. And just start very light. But the very brushing on metallics, it's really one of the nice things to do. The only thing you can see on the belly, here I will need to touch a little bit the belly again, but it's not a problem. Okay, just checking and on the sword I will go like that, starting from the edge and going. Now you can see that okay, and I do the same on the other side, but again I want to go on this direction. It's going to be more challenging, so that you need to adapt the direction to what you can do, but you want exactly to start from the edge. As we have done this edge highlight before, this just helps to know it's doing more generic highlight. Okay, let's do the next thing. I have seen that the stone, this decoration on the sword, on the artwork is green, and I like it. I like the idea. So I'm going to take, let's stop with this silver. I'm going to take, sorry the chair is doing so much noise. No. This one, Warstone Glow, and I'm going to apply it on this stone there. And you can see, because we have metallic underneath, it has this special glow or shiny that I think it's going to work very nicely. You can see. Okay, I think it works nicely. Okay. Now I'm going to take again a little bit of the agarus dunes, and if in some parts the dry brushing have eliminated too much the brass, I will add it now again. And I'm just thinking on these two things where but I'm going, you can see, very thin, just to give a little bit the yellow, but like that should be enough. Okay, there I'm happy with the shoulder, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on this decoration here on the pistol, because I like it. It's like a face that we have there, so I think we'll give a different nice touch. Okay, next I'm going to use Auric Armor Gold, this one, and I'm going to do some additional highlights one on these things on the beard, just to make them pop up a little bit more, make them a little bit more shiny. You can see I just go over very softly with not too much paint on my brush, and just let the texture do the work for you. This one you can go one by one, but principle like that is okay. Now they are much more visible. I was a little bit I was not too happy how they were looking like. And then here, if it went too pale, I'm going just to help to create this. So you just do a small touch with the Auric Armor Gold. And I'm thinking I'm going to glaze the metallics as well, because I have the feeling the scratches are too visible. The pistol I'm quite happy, but on the sword the scratches are too visible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glaze, and this means that I'm going to go with match. So I'm going to use again the wildwood. No, again I'm going to use wildwood, or I can use even the Zygote. I prefer the wildwood for that when I find it. Or we can use, let me change my mind. I'm going to use Basilicum Gray, this one. And what we are going to do is we are going to put a little bit on a small palette, just on a separate palette, a dry palette, okay? I'm going to use a dry palette, and I'm going to put a little bit here of this Basilicum, a little bit, not too much, I don't need too much. And now I'm going to take the contrast medium and I'm going to thin it down, more or less 50-50, if not more, right? You want really very thin, because you want to glaze. So to glaze you want to be very thin. So let me see how it looks like now. I think now I'm going to put a little bit more. Okay, I think now should be okay. And what that means is, what is a glaze is like a filter where it's helping to homogenize the colors, the highlights with the beige color. So we are going to come with this very thin paint. You can see I go over and not much is happening. This is what you want, just a little bit of this glaze that we're going to put over the sword. And this gray is only for the metallic part, okay? I'm not going to go on the metallic, I'm not going to go for the gold part, it's just for the iron part, okay? Because it's black and on the other part will look weird. It will also help to, if you have a part that was not well, it also helps to simulate some mistakes sometimes, the glazes. Okay, but what it does is it makes the transitions less stark. Okay, especially in areas where you have a stark transition, put a little bit. Maybe you will need to go for 2 layers, but it's better this one. This is really one. It's important to go for 2 layers instead of trying to target a thick layer. Here you can see I'm trying to. It's very thin, even if it's thinner than a gouache now. Okay, and this is what I'm looking for. So something that is very thin, that it helps me to give this texture. It's helping me to dissimulate some of the scratches that maybe are too visible. And now we wait that this dries, and we are almost done. So the only thing there is one thing I'm missing, but I think I will just apply the glaze as well on the boots. I missed to do this frame part on the boots, but to be fair, I don't think too much is needed there. I think it's quite good how they look like. You can add a little bit of dirtiness, but for me so far so good. Okay, now we'll wait that all this dries and I will be back for the next step. So this is how it looks like once the glaze have dried. You can see it's everything much more discreet, not that visible anymore, all the scratches, so it's making everything much more integrated. I just want to finalize doing one thing. I'm going to use some powder from pigments that I have in my collection. Okay, just give me the pigments box. I have some pigments, and I want to use quite a dark pigment. I think I'm going to use this one that is called Dry Mud. It's a very dark brown, similar to it's a color similar to the what's called this, to the dried bark or to the wildwood contrast. Okay, this is this type of brown, a little bit desaturated, and I'm going to put this. You want to work this on a separate palette. You can see that here I already used some pigments in the past, so I'm going to apply on the same position, on the same place. So I'm going to put So what I'm going to do I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to take the pigment dry with one of my not good brushes. Okay, and taking the pigment dry like that, and here I will work in a place where I can mess up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to come here so I can mess up more, and I will apply this. You can see this is all pigment that I have there, and I will put it here on the muzzle of the gun. Okay, you can see it's a little bit too reddish, so now I will need to use a black pigment. So let me just close this one. I will take as well the black one. So this one is called black soot, sorry. I'm going to take you can see it's completely black. And this will help me to do this is very messy, so you have to be very careful. I'm adding a little bit here. Okay, I'm adding it like that, so you can see now it's looking dirty. So now I can clean this. I will need to change the water because this is dirtying everything. Okay, so you have to be really careful. I will close this because next what I want to do is I'm going to apply directly the contrast. I will put some of this into a palette because I don't want to contaminate all my contrast medium. Okay, so you want to separate it. Prefer to throw away a little bit than contaminating the full pot. I put it here, and we are going to. This is the way to fix it. There is different ways to fix it. They're selling fixing. Mediums, but the contrast medium will also do the job. Okay, Elamium medium will do the job as well. Okay, I tried in the past. Now you can see with the contrast you can even drag a little bit to the back. So try not to put too much contrast, too much medium, but it's okay. Okay, and that's all. So here I will finalize this tutorial. So I hope you have enjoyed this one. We have used a little bit of different techniques. I think have been quite interesting miniature to paint, and I really like it, the end result. So I think it looks nice. It will look quite imposing on the table. We have done the weathering on the leather. We have done the scratches on metal. We have done all the burn marks on the pistol. You can add a little bit more if you want I prefer to keep it like that. Yeah, we have done a lot of different things on that miniature, and that's all. So I hope you have enjoyed this one. Please give a like if you have liked this video, and as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you later. Bye.